Okay, thank you. So, if you guys and girls are attending this session, then I'm sure there must be something that attracted you to this course, whether you have read it in the brochure or whether you have like visited the website or the Facebook, the Brtech one, or perhaps you're just lost, like you don't know which course to pick, and this one seems like something that someone won't pick, so it's quite an easy to get in. Well, actually, this course does not have the popular word macam engineering ke apa-apa kat dalam lah. But it's uh, this course, I can assure you that as an alumni of this course, I dah graduate ni, is definitely not lacking in any way to the other engineering courses. It's just like worded differently because we are more focused on technology. Okay. So let's start off with a brief introduction of myself. So I graduated from this course 10 tahun lalu lah, I think more than 10 tahun lalu. So I'm currently in the medical sales industry. So I'm involved in the sales and support for interventional cardiology and peripheral division in Boston Scientific. So offhand, most of you would wonder what is this course related to the medical industry, because memang cannot link lah, right? So well, in fact, I've been in this field since I moved on from research of lignocellulose composite after graduation lah. So in terms of preparation, this course has really prepared me well. Like bukan in the terms of like loading me with like loads of knowledge apa-apa yang I memang some ada certain course dia memang macam tu. Like for example, if engineering, it really wants to load you with all the engineering things that you need or might not need when you go into the industry. So this course rather provides you like a stepping stone. So if it provides you with the necessary skills and like guidance to research and understand the details that you might need in your job in the future. So if you really want to delve into the course in depth, for example, in polymer, biocomposite, all of that, or even paper, like the sharing just now from our counterpart in the Muda paper mills, also can. But you can also use it as a stepping stone to go like in other industries as well. So for example, when I started as a product specialist in this field of interventional cardiology products, I was also like kind of lost, like because it's a new industry to me, something that I've not learned in the university. But as I got to know more, right, I realized memang banyak lah yang we can relate together with this course that we can apply as a stepping stone to understand more on like other industries. So for example, in this course, we learn about properties and characteristics of bio-based materials and also the interaction of polymers, chemical polymer in whether in liquid or solid form. But it can also be applied to like a broad range of other materials as well. It's not limited to like bio-based products. You only study on that and you can only apply on that. You can apply to other types of materials as well, like any kind of materials that has the properties that are the same. Okay, for example, metal or even concrete or anything. Okay, for example, the stand that I'm selling. So if you don't know what it is, okay, this item is actually used in saving lives. It is used in patients with who has a heart attack or have a coronary or heart related disease. So it's actually used to open up the vessels that have like acutely been closed or over time like clogged by our cholesterol and all the other debris that we consume in our body lah. So it blocks the blood flow to your heart and you can't get enough oxygen to the heart to actually function. Okay, so let me just share a short video, and it's actually a YouTube video lah. So as I play, then I will just like sort of touch on the points that we can actually relate our industry to understanding what is related to it. Okay, hold on. So as you can see that this is actually a stand that we are used in the heart attack like I mentioned earlier lah. So okay, this is just a structure of the stand. So you can see this stand is made out of platinum chromium, which is also a material that we actually study. So then it also touched on the polymer, so how it helps to healing of the vessels and all that. And you see, it also touched on like polymer interaction, which is also involved in what we are studying at the moment. Okay, so like, okay, this is like a design of the stand, which we don't study on the design, but we study on the properties and the characteristics of the materials and how it function. Okay, because for this course it's more on like application and technology. So how we use what we know to apply to like real world things and real world technology that people use in their daily life that we might or might not realize. Okay, so for example, it's used like this material, the characteristic can be used for better trackability because our human vasculature is so tortuous that you actually need a certain kind of flexibility to actually go through. Okay, it's very complex. All right. Then you see that this stand has a structure. So when you have something with structure, you also need to like study its strength, like the radial, whether or the axial strength or the conformability. These are all properties that we study in our course itself. So it keeps repeating itself. Like we are studying on actual strength of what products, real strength of what products. Okay. So it helps you actually understand more that these things that we study can be applied to a vast different kind of industry and different kind of products itself. So you see this one, it mentioned about the thickness and width, like I mentioned earlier, the radial strength. Okay. So as we go further, right, we can see that other than that, we also in our course, we also go on the study of the research, on the trials, on like when we are writing our final year paper and our final year project, we need to study on like what these are all trials and research done by people. So in our course, we actually have all the basics that provide us with necessary things that we can use in our as a stepping stone lah, for our future in if whether we decide to be in the industry or in a different industry. Okay, because like back in my university days, I used to do a lot of like research and writing of papers. So I actually had a hand in publishing like 4 papers in a year and a half during my university time. Because after I did my final year project and then I went on for like further research in the master studies. So this led me to understand more of like the terms and the research papers and trials when I went into this like medical industry, because we know that in the medical industry, right, the science to back whatever you are doing is very important as it involves like human lives. So anything that goes wrong, you can actually take a life or actually involve uh, a mortality. Okay. So I'm not going to mention like more on the career prospects of what is well known and related for our industry, for example, paper and all that. But let me just go ahead and just mention that there are a lot of other career prospects that uh, you all can venture into. Okay, you all can think like, you guys and girls can just slowly think out of the box and on some ideas of what other career prospects that are awaiting you. So you don't have to look like very far or like think very hard. You just have to look at the world around us and think of the more popular daily products that you are currently using. For example, your handphone, or I mean, everybody has a handphone, right? Laptop or iPad, or even the car or bus that you sit in. Okay, the handphones that we use are full of the manufacturing lines that are really related to us. So just an example, we dissect the handphone from inside out. Okay, the circuits are filled with all the materials and coatings. Okay, that's very important. For example, which one needs to be insulated and which one not. Okay, this like increases the efficiency of the functionality lah. Like we want our handphone to be faster. Okay, which one we need to focus more and all that. Although these are not what you actually study in the course, but you can venture into as an idea. Okay, then as we move out, we can think about what is outside the handphone, our mobile phone. Okay, the anti-scratch screen, the durability of the polymer covers that we use. Okay, plastic is also a type of polymer. So just that polymer is a wider word that we use to cover a lot of different products, but plastic is one of them. And how about like the water insulation of the outer layer of our phones? We want our phone we can take out and not be afraid that it get wet during the rain. So these are all very important things that you all can just think out of the box and think of what you all can do and provide. Okay. So these are like a recurring theme lah, as you saw just now in the slides and is in our items like property of materials, interaction of chemicals and coatings, right? Then like how about the cars and buses that we are sitting on, we used to ride on. Even now, if let's say you are going somewhere, okay, the trains, cars, buses. So if you just like Google biocomposites in the automotive industry, right? I'm sure like most of you have a smartphone, you can just Google anytime now, okay, biocomposites in the automotive industry. So you will find that the inner composites of like famous brands such as Mercedes or BMW are all made of bio-based polymer composites or mixtures of somewhat like that, because they try to like utilize the waste that actually we get from other industries. Okay. Then like our counterpart Mr. Chi mentioned earlier, the coatings, we have the specialty coatings like the anti-scratch, the anti-stain coatings, the spray coatings on our car and all that. So these are all that we can see, but we are just not aware that it's actually related to this industry. Everything we can see, but whether we think further on, oh, this product is related to what? So we don't actually go into the essence of the product. Okay. So actually with the rise in the demand for sustainability in our world now, there are so many industries that you all can go through after you graduate from this, okay? Whether it be the bio-based industry, like the other alumni have shared so far, or like, for example, the empty fruit bunch waste after the extraction, like our like the previous sharing from the Muda paper mill one, the extraction and processing of the oil palm fruits that we see actually produce like the fruit bunch waste that we can actually use for a multitude of products, not only like paper or corrugated board or anything. So like the biocomposites, okay, is sort of like something that we can derive from lah. So once we are able to tap into all these ways and all that natural ways, is like what we already have in our earth now. So like we want to have a sustainable future. That's also a recurring theme in our era right now. So if we are able to tap into all this, right, I'm sure that once you all graduate, right, just you are not doing, sometimes you might not even have to look for a job. People will come and look for you for actually offer you a job. Okay. If I am not wrong, the employability rate of the graduates from this program, I think is more than 95%, right? About 90 to 95%, right? I can't remember from the data that I recall from the Q&A sharing session, I think back in March earlier this year. So if you are like interested, then you can also refer back to the Brtech Facebook that I think they have a recording for it. So there's like loads of information there, like the sharing from the other alumni, the employability rate, what is the expected salary. I think these are all like things that goes into your mind, that what you're thinking of right now, right? So do put some thought on like on who you aspire to be lah. So if you are into like helping our earth and beyond to be more sustainable place for our current future generation, right, then definitely consider applying for this course, because like perhaps, I don't know, one of you here will be the next like great Nobel researcher of our generation, something like a sustainable product, right? So people always say that the sky is the limit, but now in my opinion, even the sky is not the limit, because as our knowledge carried over from this course, we can even apply it to like innovating the next material used for like rockets that they use in space, or the explorer drones. I don't know, I'm just throwing some ideas out lah. Okay. Then another highlight like for this course, right, is actually like the university life involved. Okay, like people of our generation are mostly more focused on wanting to have a healthy and balanced lifestyle. Like that's why we go into like YouTube or TikTok and other social media, right? I mean to see what others are doing. Like that, but seeing is not actually doing yourself. So why limit yourself to only watch what others are doing, and why not like experience it yourself? So I must say that this course does not load you with like too much studies that you don't have time to actually enjoy your university life. So it provides you with a lot of necessary information, but also gives you like certain amount of time so that you can spend on yourself. Okay, like you can also have like choose a relevant elective course. For example, myself, I actually picked up Mandarin and Thai as an elective course because although I'm Chinese, but I'm from Sekolah Kebangsaan, so I had like little exposure on the Mandarin language. And I feel that this actually helped me a lot when it comes to like uh, communication and all that. When you go out into the real world to work and all that, you communicate with different types of like people from different backgrounds. Okay, and also like you can also be involved in more like active co-curricular activities because you got more slightly more time. I wouldn't say that it's very free and easy course, but you have slightly more time because it does not load you with so much like studies. So in USM, you can have like we have very like active sports clubs or cultural or even like astronomy clubs that it will enrich your studying experience. So if I was to able to like rewind the time back to from 10 years ago, from after I completed my Form 6 then, I think that I will also choose back like this course because I feel that it's really good for myself lah. So do think about this, and then like I said, just if you have any queries, you can just ask the people here or just register for the course in the form, right? That's all the sharing from me. Thank you.